Hey guys, FatBuddyCat here. And tonight, I'm going to twerk my converter for you. 2 times. Alright guys, I'm just going to make this real quick and painless. Basically a continuation of last night. Okay, we have here the pink springs and the orange springs. The aluminum weights are currently in the driver with the stock springs that are the equivalent of the blue springs. Alright, so right now we are at a 3,300 RPM engagement, okay, which is way too high for a modified motor of this nature. Very simple modifications to this motor, guys. Real quick, in case you don't know, this has from EC Carburetors a Tillotson 212R. This has a Tillotson 660 board carburetor. This has the governor removal, a stock billet rod, 22-pound springs. That's it. This motor comes ready for action. Okay, now with that in mind, we are going to be looking for our best possible option for this motor in running a modified torque converter. I'll be explaining that later. But right here we have 2300 on the orange and 2800 on the engagement with the pink. 33 was too much, so the nature of testing, guys, would be to go one below that rather than go to the bottom and then to the middle. All right, because we really want to see the changes in a progression. So we're going to go ahead and start with the pink springs. I'll get those installed, get them on the bike. I'll see you outside. All right, guys, real quick on my bolt that's going to go on my output shaft. I'm using a fresh lock washer and a steel washer every time, okay? 1/4 inch on the hex. So I just carry this with me. That's all I'm tightening and taking it off with. If I really want to go crazy, give it a couple taps with a hammer. Quick systems check. Houston, we have ignition. Alright, now let's see if we have any liftoff. Yep. guys. Yep, she's still hot. While I wait for this driver to cool down, I'm going to give you my thoughts real quick. The pink springs and the aluminum weights are not a good match for this setup. Whether it's the gearing or the motor, it's probably a combination of the two. It's just not working out. By the time we start reaching a higher speed, we are already at like a full impingement, all right? So as the motor starts to gain any extra RPM it has from the lighter weights, it goes into a bit of a shudder because it's actually cupping the belt, okay? And by cupping, I mean it is impinging so hard that it's pushing the two sides of the belt together. That is really, really not beneficial to our situation. Let's get that orange one on there. I think it's going to be similar, but who knows? You guys ever do something you know you probably shouldn't do, but for entertainment purposes you're going to do it anyway? Those are the sort of revelations I'm having about this, guys. These springs are super light, alright? With these weights, oh man, 2300. That's a really early engagement for this motor. Probably really good for some wheelie action, but I'm gonna assume nothing more. Yikes. Let's see what happens, guys. This one's gonna be twerking on its own. Well, it's like 90 something degrees today, so there's not much in the way of cooling down. This is probably just going to be all systems go. Ready for takeoff. Oh, this is horrible. Right off the bat. It likes to do that. That's going to be about it. This is a whole 500 RPM lower on the engagement. Want to see some of this action. It's not pretty. It's so early on. Well, I don't think I have to say much for this. I don't know what I can say for our poor belt, other than sorry. It pretty much did what I expected it to do, except way, way more violently. Alright? That Twerk put in work all over this belt. Also, the ticking, guys. I've blown one of these apart with one of my Predators before. What I believe happened is it went into that impingement, somehow backed the bolt out a little maybe, but I really don't think that happened. I think it like jived in somehow and then created wiggle room. It blew a spring, and then that wiggle room allowed the bolt to back out. It blew through the cover, and I still haven't found all the parts to that thing, alright? Well, this is right on the edge of doing that right then and there. So, that's why I stopped. Alright, guys? Maybe I got a better way to explain this. Alright, because I love my Megamoto 212 Pro so much, guys, to show my appreciation to Go Power Sports, I went ahead, put that Juggernaut right back on there. Give you this next demonstration. And that, guys, is why the Super 30 series, like the Juggernaut from Go Power Sports and the Tork Zilla from ombwarehouse.com, are made for these modified motors. And that just leaves one final question. Who and what are these modified torque converters for? Well, let me tell you guys. You can go and buy the Comet drivers. Okay, you can buy the Comet torque converters. All right, but these parts also fit in to the we'll call them secondary product lineup. Okay, and by that I mean your generic torque converter, all right, that comes in a box like this. You can typically get those for around $100, all right, and you get like a steel bushing, the zinc weights, the equivalent of the blue springs already on there, the pulley, it'll have one of these like IS parts belts, pretty basic stuff. So for only, a small amount of money, you can take that thing apart and you can start building your own custom torque converter. All right? Now, there's other things you can do with the driven springs and stuff. All right, guys? We're just concentrating on the driver right here. These would benefit guys with stock motors. This would benefit guys who are running stage 1 only. All right? You might even see benefits on some motors that just have a basic governor delete. All right? Something that, is capable of, somewhere mid-5s. 5,000 plus RPM, but less than 6. I think that's where this thing would jam. All right? Now, these things do have a maximum amount of effort that can be passed through them. All right? I mentioned that before. I learned the hard way once. I'm not trying to do it again. I would like to, at some point, put a stock motor on something and test these things out for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. You're going to get a lot of benefits. You're going to get quicker takeoffs. You're going to get more usability out of the motor. I've heard claims of plus 1,000 RPM using the aluminum weights alone. Okay? There's a lot more benefits, all right, on other motors. So I really suggest that you guys get out there and test for yourself. Okay, we're all cleaned off. I'm just gonna hold this right about there for you. That way you can pause it, use it as a reference. Okay? This isn't top secret information. This is directly from Comet. These are their products, all right? So, if you're thinking about trying this out, which, I highly recommend, that should be of great importance. Save you some time, maybe some money, making your choices on your springs. Speaking of testing, guys, I think I'm going to have to put these two bikes up against each other again. Old FatBuddyCat has been catching a little flack about which one is king of the big-wheeled minis. I think we'll have to do some more testing, guys. One-on-one style. And I also think some of you are going to be pretty surprised. Well, that's all for tonight, guys. As always, It's a work in progress. Have a good night. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.